This is a Brownsville TV News special.
Well, good day, Brownsville. I'm Marcy Martinez. Welcome to this special edition of Brownsville TV News. As you may have seen, our Brownsville Mayor John Cowen Jr. recently traveled to Washington, D.C. That's where he visited with federal representatives about matters that are important to the Rio Grande Valley and, of course, to all of you right here in Brownsville. And I am so happy to have the Honorable Mayor John Cowen Jr. sitting right here with us today at our CMD complex in downtown Brownsville. I have to say, beautiful downtown Brownsville and a beautiful day, Mayor. Thank you for coming out here.
Thank you, Marcy. It's great to be here.
So I know that you braved the cold in D.C. It was very cold up there, but you spent a few days there talking with a lot of important people. You yourself are important to our community, so we're glad that you are our voice. So let's start with the trip itself. What exactly did you participate in, and what types of conversations did you have?
All the mayors that are part of STAC, we developed basically a federal priorities list of what we wanted to address in Washington, and this trip is an opportunity to meet face-to-face with all the different federal agencies, including the White House, on our priorities and what we need assistance with.
You had the opportunity to meet with a very high-profile United States Senator, Ted Cruz, a name that a lot of people are familiar with. What did that discussion entail?
Senator Cruz was there, and so we were able to talk about a host of issues. Obviously, him being the chair of the Commerce Committee for the Senate, he holds a very powerful role, and obviously space commerce was at the top of our list in terms of the business issues that we wanted to address. And so he was recently here a few weeks ago at Starbase, and so we want to make sure we are at the forefront of these discussions when they're talking about space and the future of space, especially in Texas. So I think he is absolutely on board with what's happening down here and supportive in any way possible. So I think a big win that's coming out of this trip is the advocating of an interagency task force at the federal level to make sure everyone's working together at the federal level on partnerships, investments from the federal side with regards to space strategy. So I think there's going to be a much more concerted effort on the way we're growing that industry down here.
Mayor, you were invited to participate in the U.S. Conference of Mayors, also in D.C., happening during the same week, correct? You and Denver, Colorado Mayor Mike Johnson was there, moderated a panel on the topic of how cities are responding to the current immigration climate. What did you gain from that? What were you able to tell them? What were you able to bring back here?
Well, I think our panel was a good representation of cities from all across the country, right? You had people on the West Coast, and the Midwest, and now, obviously we represent the border.
And not just border towns; it's everywhere.
It's everywhere, and I think everyone's experiencing this issue a little differently. Obviously, what's happening in Minneapolis and in Portland is what we see on the media, and I think those situations have escalated, and it's a challenge to de-escalate and get people to, turn down the temperature. But it was a good opportunity to get input from mayors from around the country that were participating in the crowd as well, and that was a good dialogue. And I think it's a challenge that we're all dealing with, and we obviously have a different community than what Minneapolis has or Portland. I think those communities really had a lot of immigrants that came in over the last few years with the migrant influx, right? From primarily from Venezuela and other countries. Our situation is a little bit more different in the sense that we've had we're a border town. There are families that are on both sides of the river that cross every day. We have people that have households of mixed status, and it's a kind of a generational issue that we've dealt with here. And so it's different. I don't think you can say we're the same type of community as others, but I think the message is, that the mayors want to say is, immigrants matter to our communities, they matter to our economy. We need to have common sense immigration reform, and I think having pathways for people that actually want to be good citizens, that have a skill that can contribute to our economies. I think there needs to be a lot more work done there. There needs to be mutual respect. From law enforcement and from the community, right? There needs to be an open line of communication. And it ultimately, our representatives represent us, right? They're supposed to be doing what the people want, right? And so I think the more we communicate with our federal representatives, the stronger our message is. And I think that's why it's really important to advocate in person, to go and have these face-to-face discussions and be respectful about it. I mean, I think these are discussions that we can have and not have it escalate to a situation where you can't talk to someone.
I think people are confused sometimes about Brownsville Police Department. You know, kind of iron that out for us.
You know, as mayor, our priority is to keep our city safe, right? And so our PD works every day in making sure that our community is safe. So we're very proud to be in the 8th safest city in the United States, right? And that's a reason that, you know, we have a community that trusts our police department. They trust when they're going to call our police department, they're going to respond and they're going to take care of issues, right? And I think we want to ensure that continues. And I think that's like the bedrock of our society, right? When people don't trust the PD, then we will have major issues going forward. So I think that I want to make sure that people realize that our police department, their main priority is to make sure everyone is safe in our community, right? They do not enforce immigration law. You know, the number one priority is public safety and ensuring that everyone here in the city of Brownsville is safe.
What else are you hearing from your Brownsville residents? You know, we have so many great things going on, but some big changes coming, great changes coming to the city of Brownsville. Can you give us a sneak peek of what's coming our way this year?
So, you know, for me, it's maintaining the growth that we have and ensuring that we're can keep up with it, right? I think obviously for me, it's all about jobs and bringing in high-paying jobs that will help, you know, increase opportunities for our people, and that has obviously a ripple effect throughout the city economy to our city finances. Then we're allowed to invest more money in quality of life and infrastructure, right? And so that you know, we do that through our partners, you know, the Greater Brownsville Economic Development Corporation and the Brownsville Community Improvement Corporation. So we're fortunate to have a great team at the city to be able to tackle, right? And I think a $200 million plus capital improvement program, which is historic in the city of Brownsville.
You know, I've heard about some of the stuff coming this way, and it is really exciting. I appreciate you sitting down with us.
My pleasure.
And thanks everybody for joining us. Again, I'm Marcy Martinez for BTV News.